Welcome everyone. Today we'll be doing a section called Childhood Revisiting. And a child typically will be on the floor, will not be outstanding or anything like that in very childhood. So we'll begin with one very simple one, which is the balasana. So everybody gets into the balasana posture. This is when we were born. We were in the mother's womb. Cross your hands like so that you can put your head in that. Support with your elbows. The elbows are very near the body. The two knees are touching as much as you can. Then bend your head down and try to put the head very near the knees as much as possible. This is a shrinking posture, almost in the womb of the mother. Inhale and exhale. Imagine you're not born yet, just resting within mother's belly. Two or three breaths, then gradually rise. And now the next stage, when the child is born, we turn around, and the first part that we would practice is when you stay flat, face up. But then, as you notice, many times the child is really not able to straighten the leg completely because it's been in the mother's womb. So the child, when the child is down like this, the legs are typically up. Down all the way is not as common, but when she's awake, is up. And then the hands go up also. Now there's a toy that's hanging on the top. So the child is looking at it. And it's not really that the toy is being seen as much as the motion on the toy. And then we start wiggling our hands and the feet. So continuously do that for almost a minute, as if the child is doing it and the child is rolling back and forth a little bit. But continuously try doing that. This is how the child plays in that little box with a toy hanging. And you can giggle. You can laugh here. That's the adult one. Child doesn't do that. Continuously move this. As if and if you remember the activity of the child here, it's very active, extremely active. And this is the one that develops the upper body for the child, as well as the hip area, the thighs, and then get stronger. This is needed in order to get to the second stage, the later stage. And so we do that. This is almost a minute, and then relax. For us, we need a little bit of relaxation, so relax. The next stage comes when the child is put face down. So all of us get face down, and at this point, the child is not really able to rise up. So it's flat down all the way. The face is to one side, and then tries to raise up. So shake your body side by side. Your bottom, roll it side by side a little bit. This movement also builds the lower back for the child. Because ultimately it's against the weight. And the hands are a little bit going up. Now there's a little noise or a smell up further. And so child starts looking up. So look up with your eyes a little bit and start raising the neck. At that point, there is some requirement for the hands to be a little bit steadier and supported. This is when the hand support develops slowly. And this is still about 2 months or so in our life. But at about 3 months, between 2 and 3 months, the head starts raising and the neck is up. Now you can look, as an adult, you can look around on the floor and see what things are. The child is not able to see that. The child just sees the movement. Some colors are there initial, but nothing. Red is the first one to notice. Red color is noticed by the child early. Now the neck, let's start moving the neck. The child is following the neck movements on one side. If somebody is moving on that side, and the other side. Neck movements coming in next. Neck is getting stronger and stronger. That's very important for balance later on. Neck muscles are getting stronger. The next movement is when the child starts raising up the upper part of the body, almost like Bhujangasana. And you've seen that child pose a lot of times. You've taken a lot of photographs of your children and grandchildren. They are raising up like this and playing with you. So raise up as much as you can. In our case, we will do a little bit extended Bhujangasana and move around slightly. But movement is very important for the back because it's all against the body weight. So do that. Now comes the next stage where the back has been a little bit more stable and now the sitting posture comes. So that's the sitting posture. Let's sit. Everybody sits. And the sitting is not a Padmasana. Child is, the feet are together. It's like almost Namaskar Mudra, or maybe cross a little bit wherever the child is being put, and it's not too much flexion, but just enough. And maybe the feet are separate, and the child is able to sit, but it's not stable. So let's behave like we're not really stable. Go back and forth, rock back and forth, because we are just becoming stable as a developing child. Rock back and forth. The next stage comes when the child tries to move forward, and at that time the upper body has to be stronger. So upper body is stronger, and child shifts forward. Let's do the forward movement. Take your time, lift up your bottom, shift. In this case, I'm going to turn around. This is the adult move. Child does not do that. Come around. Lift up the bottom as much as you can. This is the time to do our adult practice. Go up a little bit. Do a little circular movement here. We are just revisiting the childhood, but practicing in adulthood. Do that. One more time. Lift up. This will be all building up the muscle for the upper body, building the muscle for the lower, all these muscles that the child builds, because it's moving. It's moving in this fashion, the lower leg also. The next motion is crawling. So now the crawling comes. Crawling is a very powerful motion for the child. And here is what we will You will get on the cat-cow position. And now crawl. And first crawling is when the child is all the way down, the upper body is not completely strong yet. And so like down, elbow is down also. Let's start crawling. Continue crawling till I tell you we are done. Now, you've seen a very active child. So crawl faster. You've seen a very active child. Become a very active child. See how fast you can crawl. Next is crawling a little bit more with the elbow straight and crawling like that. We just do some crawling here because the next stage comes. The child tries to stand up and get up. This is a very interesting stage. When the child first goes in that position, and you've seen child doing that many times. That is the next stage when the balance comes. So get back into the cow position, move your feet forward a little bit, and lift up. This is the lifting up is what child builds up the thighs and the lower back and gets more stable. This is important for child to come up to this stage. And after that, as an adult, what we will do is we will just come straight, get slightly bent, keep your palm down. Halfway you are up, belly is still touching the knees. Stay there, and then slowly bring your hand on the foot, top of the feet, and slowly rise. This is exactly how the child also gets stronger in order to stand. Initially, the child gets support, mother's or father's hand, or something to hold on to, and now the child is standing. So these were the steps from the very beginning in the womb to standing. Practice this daily. You'll be surprised how much of practice or exercise you will finish by the time you grow up to stand as a child.